Okay, this is going to be an unscripted, unscheduled video on Polarity Switch, the current global event that we have. I've been asked a few times about the mechanics of it and why you would even want to play it. So let me just go over that real quickly. First thing, most important thing, is you want to make sure that the global event is actually on. So from your menu here, you're going to go over to Seasons. You can see that it defaulted to the polarity switch here, but in case it's not on there, it is the third one in here. On the Xbox, you're going to press A, and it's going to bring up this menu. You can see at the top of the screen it says deactivated, and we're going to fix that. So again, on the Xbox, you're going to press the X button to activate it. You're going to get this little prompt. You have to wait a few seconds here for it to activate. All right, it is now active. So we're going to go back to the menu. And here's where you're going to find your list of challenges. Now, each one of these challenges is going to give you some stars. You will, in turn, spend those stars on caches, which is why this is so lucrative. You know, these global events are great opportunities to get your hands on exotic caches, named caches, material caches. And let me show you that real quick since I'm literally standing right next to it. So at the base of operations, you just go over here. You've got yourself a seasonal vendor. And here's where you can spend your stars. Stars are the currency that you're going to be earning during this global event. You can see that just 3 little stars will get you some of these crafting caches. Named item caches are the hot ticket for me, named item and exotic, because I can never have enough exotic components. And the name caches are how I get all of my Dark Zone exclusive stuff, like the Orbit Magnum, the named Murakami knee pads, the Death Grips, things like that. Stuff that you would normally have to physically go into the DZ and farm for. You can get them in named item caches. So I would highly recommend you spend it on named or exotic. But, you know, depending on your needs, you might want to get some crafting materials too. I would say of the 3, the most valuable one is going to be this one. You can see that there's a pretty significant difference in how many components you actually get. You're getting, 70 ceramic, 70 steel, 65 electronics, 65 titanium versus 30s and 40s for these other 2. And there's a lot of overlap for some reason between these. So I normally just load up on this one, the recalibration crafting cache, because you get the most bang for your buck, seeing as how they all cost the same, but you get substantially more from this one. That would be my recommendation. Optimization caches can be useful, but I feel like for the cost, you're better off just earning your field recon data or shade calibration data by taking over control points or running Countdown over and over again. Countdown's a great source for SHD calibration or shade calibration, depending on who you're talking to. In the weaves and the weapon alloys and the tactical assessments, they're random, completely random. You have no control over what you get. You may get something that you already have a ton of, or you might get something that you actually need. So in my personal opinion, the optimization cache is not worth the 12 stars. But enough about the caches. Let's see. So let's go over the challenges. This is how you're going to earn large amounts of stars just through these challenges. You can see on the far right-hand side, there's a little star with a number next to it. That is just indicating that if you complete the challenge that's associated with it, that you'll get that many stars. So, for example, if I eliminate negative polarity hostiles with headshot kills, I'm going to get 3 stars. That's a recalibration cache right there. And there are 4 days worth of challenges. These start unlocking on Tuesday, the day that the global event went active. On Tuesday, day 1 unlocked. Day 2, day 3, etc., etc. So we're not completely unlocked yet. My advice, as far as how to most efficiently go through all these challenges, is to wait until all 4 days are unlocked before before setting out with the intention of completing challenges, because you will find yourself completing multiple challenges simultaneously. You'll be killing 2 or 3 birds with 1 stone, sometimes 4 or 5, honestly, without even trying, versus doing like, all of day 1s, waiting for the next day to unlock, all of day 2s, waiting for the next day to unlock, etc., etc. So that's my suggestion there. You can see that right now I've got 35 stars. You also get a star whenever you level up. So that's another source of stars. For this demonstration, you can see that I've set my world to normal because I want to demonstrate the mechanics and not have to worry too much about getting killed. But before I set out into the open to demonstrate the mechanics of this, I want to touch on ideal builds for this. And I have to say that the best build you can run, that literally sets this to easy mode. Now, granted, this doesn't take into account the challenges that you might be knocking out, because there's some very specific challenges like setting enemies on fire, getting headshots, etc., etc. So if you're just farming shade levels and not particularly paying attention to the challenges themselves, I would say this is the #1 build to run, a Firestarter build, Eclipse Protocol. I actually have a build video on this if you guys want some more information on how to set it up. What makes mine unique from the other ones I've come across on the YouTubes is I run Death Grips because that grants me 10% armor on kill. And considering how fast we're killing enemies with our Firestarter chem, you're getting huge chunks of health back. This adds to your survivability in a big way. Other thing I do that not a lot of people do is I run the turret. I take this sucker with me everywhere. This is my little buddy. It's like running with another agent. You can see that I've expertised it up to level 20, so he actually does a pretty substantial amount of damage before any skill tiers are applied, and I, of course, am sitting at skill tier 6, so this turret has packs a wallet. But anyways, this is just a quick snapshot of this. If you prefer to not run skill builds, my other suggestion would be to run something like a Hunter's Fury. Something that's going to add some levels of survivability, because you will often find yourself juggling your weapons to match polarities. And I have died many times in the middle of a firefight because I panic or I'm unaware that my polarity isn't matched, and then I just die. So previously I was running with something like, let's see, where is it? Or Shepherd, just your basic DPS build, and just trying to be mindful of the polarities, but I just died too many times. So as soon as I switched back to my Barrel Stuffer build, which is your basic Hunter's Fury build, there's honestly nothing super special about this other than I run with a blinder. Not a lot of people run with blinder Firefly. But I started doing really well with this. So of course you can run what you like, but that's just my suggestion. So now let's get into the mechanics of it. I'm going to fast travel somewhere where there's enemies so I can actually show you. Actually, we'll just go after... Here we go. We'll go after these guys here. Bear with me here. So you can see right now that my arm is a orange color. That is a visual indicator to tell me that I am currently positively charged. To be negatively charged, your arm is going to be blue. There are a couple ways to change your own polarity. So the first way to change your polarity is to switch weapons. So you can see that I am now negatively charged. The other way to change it, I'll switch back, is to reload. So if I fired off a round and then I reload, I am now negatively charged. And I switch back, now I'm positively charged. You kind of get the idea. And this goes for everything, including your specialization weapon. Yes, your specialization weapon is also charged. So pay attention to that if you're planning on using your specialization weapon for something. Now, the one thing that is not charged and completely disregards the polarity of the enemies is skills, which is why Firestarter, or a skill build just in general, a damage dealing skill build, is king of this, because you don't have to worry about the polarity of the enemy types. You just lob that chem into the middle of them and light them all on fire and watch them drop. The turret completely disregards, the drone completely disregards, the oxidizer completely disregards. You get the idea. So that would be my suggestion. If you want easy mode, There is another way to change the polarity of the enemies, and that is to melee one of them. And it will actually change the polarity of the entire group, or the entire fire team, I believe it's called. And I will demonstrate that really quick. I'm going to run up to this guy. I'm just going to sock him, and then I'm going to run away. And this is why it's set to normal. See how the entire fire team changed? That's actually a challenge. Your challenge is to change the polarity of an entire fire team. I don't remember how many times, but it is listed on there. So I'm going to throw out my skills. I'm going to go ahead and just murk these guys real quick. Yeah, turret's got him. This is, after all, set to normal. Light him on fire. Well, it didn't take much, did it? There goes another one. And you can see I don't really have to worry about the polarity. I guess this is the resource convoy, isn't it? Okay. We'll just finish him off real quick. Shouldn't take much time. Bye-bye. So another important thing to watch for is that there are stacks. There are damage stacks that you get by killing same polarity enemies. So you can see right now he is positively charged, and now I am positively charged because I switched weapons. Shooting him, you see now I'm sitting at 2 stacks. This goes up to 5 stacks. There's an indicator above my shoulder, and there's an indicator below my ammo counter of what how many stacks I have. So now I am sitting at 3. I'm sitting at 4. I'll get it up to max stacks. And then let me show you what happens when you shoot the wrong polarity. You will immediately lose your stacks. And you'll hear that little guitar riff, that little audio cue that lets you know that you messed up. So this can be kind of annoying when you're shooting into massed groups of enemies, because inevitably, especially if you're using, like, say, something like a shotgun with a spread to it, you're going to accidentally nick one of them and you're going to lose all of your stacks. Now, depending on your difficulty level, that can either be, you know, a nothing burger or be very important to keep track of. Obviously on normal, not a big deal. It's normal. You can sneeze on them and they'll die. But on harder difficulties, you're going to want to be mindful of all that. Alright. So that is how the mechanics work. I want to grab... There we go. So that's basically all I wanted to go over. Feel free to leave a comment on this video if you have any more questions that maybe I didn't cover or maybe I missed. And I will provide a link to this build, my Firestarter build, and my Barrel Stuffer build in the comments and in the description. So you guys can check that out if you're interested. But thanks for watching. Hope this was helpful. I'll talk to you guys later.